Hello and welcome to the Small Caps, where we discuss the issues facing the smaller side of the market. Ahead, we'll hear from Sandfire's Managing Director Carl Simic on the miner's plans for its DeGrussa copper-gold project. And we'll get an update on Atlas Iron's pursuit of Diatreme Resources from Atlas Managing Director David Flanagan. But first, 2010 was a huge year for the smaller end of the mining sector, with surging capital inflows and a raft of M&A activity. And 2011 is tipped to be no different. One area of the market expected to come further into focus is mineral sands. Diatreme is a mineral sands copper and gold explorer hoping to benefit from the increased interest. For a closer look at the company, I spoke with Diatreme's CEO Tony Fawdon, started by asking him how he sees the outlook for the industry.
I see it as being very bright indeed. Certainly in terms of the zircon market, it's improving quite dramatically. Going back a year or so ago, the price was $750 US a ton. Now moving through 1,000, and predictions are it should be $1,200 a ton in very short order. So from our perspective, it's moving in the right direction. There's going to be a shortage of zircon, so we see ourselves in a very good position.
Zircon is an extremely valuable mineral sand, currently valued at over $1,000 US a ton. What's your forecast for its pricing, and in terms of, I suppose, the demand-supply outlook in the near term?
I can only base it, James, on what I read and talking to people, peer groups in the industry. And certainly there's going to be a shortage of certainly, and maybe rutile, but certainly talking about zircon, there's going to be a shortage of it from around about 2015 through to 20, and there's predicting somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 tonne shortage a year, and this is on a base level of 1.3 million tonnes consumption at the moment. So the price forecasting, I've seen anything from 1,500 in about 4 years' time up to about 1,800, so it's looking dramatically quite good. Yeah. There's going to be a major shortage of zircon, that's for sure.
Can you give us an update on your Cyclone deposit in the Eucla Basin? What's the status of your agreement with the Chinese group Basin?
Right, well, Cyclone itself, we've now got a resource of 132 million tonnes of 2.3% heavy minerals, which includes about almost a million tonnes so far of zircon, makes it rebel. And we're now doing a pre-feasibility study. We should be getting into the feasibility study in the middle of this year, planning to get into production around about 2014. So development will start at the end of 2013. In terms of Baotai, we have a very good relationship with Baotai. We signed an MOU. Just come back from Baoji, where they're based, and we've had long discussions about how we're going to move forward, because obviously there's cultural barriers dealing with an organisation which also has central government ownership. So it's moving very well. We've got a timetable now set moving forward to go through due diligence, to go through site visits, go through a heads of agreement, and then on to a full agreement. Probably towards the end of this coming year, 2011. So around about August or thereabouts, we should have a full agreement in place. It's a very slow procedure because we have to go and get, or they have to go and get, central government authority to actually be approved before they can start funding the operation in the Eucla.
So are you confident that the Eucla Basin will be one of the world's next big suppliers of zircon?
Very much so. We see this as being certainly probably the second largest concentration of zircon in the world after Jacinth Ambrosia. So this is a very serious world-class deposit. In terms of the robustness of the project, it's high indeed. We're going to run this with LNG, which gives us a very low cost in terms of energy. We will be using bulk mining machinery and the normal dozer traps, so this will give us a low-cost mining operation. In terms of moving the concentrate from Cyclone, we'll take it down to the transline at Forest most likely, and then ship it out through 3 optional ports we have at the moment, which is out of Western Australia in Perth, down at Esperance and out at Adelaide. So we can move then the concentrate offshore to a mineral separations plant in China. We've already got a site sort of picked for that, and we can operate the mineral separation plant, which normally costs about $80 million. We can get built for $25 million and operate for a lot less and have our product right in China, ready for sale. The good thing about that is that we're probably going to be the cheapest low-cost operation anywhere in Australia at the moment inland. That's in the Murray Basin or the Eucla Basin.
How are you placed in terms of capital? Will you need funding to, I suppose, help develop the Cyclone deposit, or are you pretty well cashed up?
No, we're not cashed up at the moment. We have sufficient capital to keep us going for a few months. We'll probably raise some more capital in the near future, which will be we've been talking about approaching the shareholders. We've never done that really in the past, so we want to give the shareholders a good opportunity to get in at this level. In terms of the major funding, Baotai are talking about purchasing 51% of the deposit, which means it would be a cash injection into the company. We also are looking at obviously the capex of the operation, which is going to be about $250 million, and we of course would be up for 49% of that. So we would either raise that through the auspices of Baotai and Bank of China, or we would do it here locally in Australia through merchant banks as project finance, and also mixed with some equity raising as well. We're not particularly worried actually about raising capital. When you've got a deposit this size, of this nature, it has a life of its own raising capital.
Now, there's only around 5 companies on the ASX with an interest in zircon, obviously including Diatreme. Why so few, and what might investors expect from the sector?
I can say with all honesty, it's an unloved part of the sector, unloved part of the exploration mining sector. And I guess when you look at it, there's one listed company, which is Eucla. There's 4 listed companies, I presume, which is Diatreme, Image, Gunston and Sterling, who have the Matilda properties. Beyond that, there's no one else in the industry. So if we're going to be predicting a zircon boom in the coming foreseeable future, that means once the public has driven Eucla's price up, well, then they're going to be casting their eyes around looking for the rest of the sector. And obviously the most advanced in the sector is the companies I've just spoken about. Like all these booms, of course, there'll be Johnny-come-lately, so there'll be 50 zircon companies who will all claim that they're have the next big deposit. But in reality, this sector has had a boom once before when it was, if you like, the princess of the ball in terms of the market. It's been the Cinderella of the ball now for about 20-odd years, and people really don't understand the industry. But zircon and heavy mineral sands is a seriously good industry to be in. It makes a lot of money.
And just finally, how confident are you in the outlook for the company in the year ahead?
Very. Absolutely confident. It's very few companies of our size, and we've gone through a lot of pain to get here, of our size, that have a resource this big. We worked out the other day the in-ground value, this is not the mineable, but the in-ground value of product, which we can have, say, within a cut-off of 1.5%, is something like about $2.6 billion. Now, if you want to drop that to 1%, well, then exponentially that increases. But it's not very few companies, junior companies around, that have that sort of resource, that solid. And Cyclone is very solid. I'm glad I've got Cyclone, and I'm glad I didn't get one of the gold copper things up, because they're probably a lot more difficult to get up. This is a very easy operation to get up, and it's we couldn't have put ourselves in a better space.